Hey everyone, let's take a look at the Crocodile Car by LEGO Dreams. This is set number 71458, contains 494 bricks, retails for $59.99, and this set was provided by the LEGO Group for early review. So here we have a car with a crocodile head on it, so that's where it got its name from, and all sorts of stuff. And here on the top we got minifigures. So we have Cooper, Logan, Jayden, Snyvel, if I'm pronouncing it right, and Night Hunter. Okay, so you get, what, 5 of those, and yeah, the bowl cut is back. And I've never seen the series before, so that's probably why I know nothing about this theme here, but we'll give it a shot. And this is all the various stuff, so what I'm assuming you're going to build 2 different stories here with this. Oh, that one looks pretty cool. Maybe it's a transformer. Yeah, this box is catching my attention. Looks pretty cool. But what does it look like? Well, let's have a look. Let's start with the minifigures. Off to the left, we have Cooper, Logan, Jayden, Snyvel, I think that's his name, and Night Hunter. They're a nice set of minifigures, and torsos are printed on both front and back. And most of them have double-sided heads. Now, I'm not going to take off the wigs, because some of these minifigures are top-heavy. So, for example, like Cooper, he's got a helmet right here. So you have to scalp him to put that on. And he's got the hourglass, I believe. Now, I don't know what their rows are in this theme, but I'm taking it he's probably the one that does all the dreaming, because it looks like he's wearing some night clothes. And the Night Hunter is probably the boogeyman or the night demon. I have no clue. But they are a nice set of minifigures. Here we have the 2 motorbikes, and we got a large one and a small one. So this is essentially what they are. They're pretty much clones of one another. So one's big and one's small. This one here's got the full instrument package here. It's all printed, so it's not a sticker. It's got the wings so it can fly around and all that stuff. And you know, for the most part, these are not too bad. And this one here rolls pretty easily. This one here is, it's like it's meant for a toddler. Well, we can put Snyvel on this one here. I think that's where he's supposed to go. And Night Hunter goes on the large one. Let's get rid of his weapon, because he can't drive while doing that. He just stands right in there. So that's what he does. And then he can just reach over and pretend like he's grabbing the handlebars. I think that's about as far as he can reach. So as you can see, though, it's I don't know, it just seems kind of large. I think that's how it's supposed to be. But at least they're scaled for figures. I don't know what I would call this right here. I call it a voodoo doll figure more than anything else. But yeah, not too bad for these vehicles. Finally, we have the Crocodile Car, and essentially that's what it is. And we'll take a quick 360 spin tour. We got flames shooting out of the sides, and it's got legs and a tail that wobbles around. Let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty. It can pretty knock something off the table there. And that's essentially what it is. Now, if you choose, you can build it with the tires on. Now, the instructions told me after I built them, put them on, I had to take them off. So taking these off are a bit of a chore here. So I'm not taking them off to demonstrate how the vehicle works. But it looks better like this. And right here we got the mouth that opens up, and then one of these disc launchers. Supposed to put one of these 2x2 flat tiles in here, and it was supposed to shoot things out of its mouth. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to pick that up. I'm sure parents who are probably going to buy this for their children are not wanting to do that too. And this thing also has some studs launchers. I don't know where they're at. Maybe it was on one of the other vehicles. But I'm not a big fan of the stud launchers, so I try to ignore those. And this back here is how you fire. I guess I can show you, since I don't have to worry about somebody telling me to pick them up, although I'll have to pick them up. So putting that in there is a bit of a chore. Now you can pop these off if you choose, but so what you can do is have his mouth slightly open like that, and you can just flip this lever right here. Let's do it against the wall. And that's what it does. And you have to take some force with this. And I don't like these things. I don't like the stud launchers, so I avoid them. I tried not to put anything in there. So that's pretty much what it is. And these little flame things kind of move around. And it's got lots of stickers. And majority of the build is this. Now, the top of this does open up here. And let's take a look at the interior. Unlike the motorbike, this one has a very tiny steering wheel and nothing else printed in there. But you can seat up to 2 figures. You notice I didn't say minifigures, because we can take Jayden, well, he's in his nightgown, I believe, and we can put him in here. He can just sit in there like that. And I was about to call him Cogsworth, but that's on another video game. I can't remember what his name is. I think it's Cooper. We can set him in there. And yes, that tail will keep swinging at you. So he just stands in there, and that's what it looks like inside. Okay. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be playing around with this more than anything here. And everything fits back together. Like I said, if you choose, you can put the wheels on it and use it as a regular vehicle. And it's an 8-stud wide vehicle too. Or you can just leave it like that. Now this does look interesting, but I'll save my final thoughts for the review and how I felt about building this. But we also get ourselves a hockey stick or a puck. Maybe it's used to play with these. But I thought there was more. I thought there was another set of stud launchers, but I think it was maybe on one of the bikes. Yeah, let's take a look here real quick. So these do move around. And like I said, if you want to put the wheels back on, you're going to have to really pop these off, which I can never get them off to put the wheels on. So if I were you, if you're going to play with this, just keep it in one mode. All right, these things are just hard to get off, and I'm trying to refrain from saying some bad language on how I feel about that one there. But for the most part, it is a nice car, if you want to call it that. I call it a croc more than a car. I mean, I guess you could. And the mouth does close up all the way and stuff like that. And if you really wanted to, we can just take this guy here and we can just toss him in there. Let's see if it'll close all the way. Well, no, I guess he can't eat minifigures whole. He has to slowly digest them, huh? But that's essentially what it is. I think a lot of young builders are going to play with this more than anything on the whole model. But nonetheless, though, it is a nice vehicle. Well, if you want to call it a vehicle. Let's start the review with the build quality, and honestly, it's an above average build. Didn't have nothing flake off or fall apart when building this, and it seems pretty robust, as you saw in the tour. Nothing's coming apart or it feels flimsy. This is a very solid build. Now, my build experience, on the other hand, is a different story. It wasn't really a fun build. It just wasn't filling the set. I was starting to get bored with it during bag 1 and just couldn't get really focused in the build. I don't know if it's the color scheme or what, but the final outcome is pretty good. It's just the build wasn't dragged out. It was just, to me, it was boring. I don't know if, I think it's because I'm not into this theme. Maybe for a younger one, this would probably be a really good build. For me as an adult, not so much. Now, could this be dropped in a Lego City? It would look kind of awkward, but I'm sure you could. This little trike here, you probably could. This, most likely not. This big, large bike thing, maybe. But at least it's everything's scaled for minifigures, and that will lead to play value. Yes, this is a highly playable model. As you saw, you have access to everything. You have access to the interior of the car. You can put your minifigures on the bikes, you know, things shoot out and stuff like that, and you can change pieces. So it's a fully playable model. For collaborative build, bag 1 essentially does this stuff here, except for the tires, just these 2 bikes, and I think 2 or 3 of the minifigures, and that's it. Bags 2, 3, 4, and 5 mainly focus on this, and the tires. So it's not broken up equally. If you're expecting a collaborative build, you may want to look elsewhere with this. It just wasn't really meant to be built with 2 or more people. So this is pretty much a solo build. So my final score with this set is going to be an 8. Some of the stickers were hard to put on, and I was starting to lose focus. But I'm sure for a younger builder, this would be a really good treat. For the retail price of $59.99, this is essentially what you're getting. If you don't have the tires on the Crocodile Car, it's really just meant just to sit here. I mean, even though if it's flexible and stuff, you just really can't move it around on a base plate or on a flat surface. It's just meant to just sit there. So at least you can play with these things. So for $59.99, I think it's a little too high for this. Maybe it's just I'm not into the theme. It just seems rather expensive for what it is. But I want to hear what you guys and gals have to say about the set. Tell me what you think of it. You think this is a good value for $59.99? Let me know in the comments.